All right, I wanted to show you something real quick. Take a look at this quartz vein. That's beautiful, look at that. See that? Nice reds. And take a look at this. Somebody's been in here mining. See the tub? And look at that brand new steel ladder they just put in. You know, it goes down maybe about 50 feet. And look at that, they got a new platform right there. So, here we go. Looks like a rat's nest down there. Oh, look at this down on the lower level. See that quartz vein? But you can see this nice, beautiful vein right along the ceiling there. See that? That's what they were following. I have to take a sample of that. All right, I just thought you might want to see that. See that? It's galena. Oh, there's some more right there. Look at that. Look at that. Man, it's all over the place. Woo-wee. I got quartz. There's a big old vein of it right there. I don't know if you can see that. Huge vein of it. Wow. Look at that. See that? That's beautiful. That's what's called float. And it's basically quartz that's broken off of the host vein, and I can see it running all the way down there with a north and south stripe. Come on, take a look at this. Okay, now, what I'm gonna do is, I got you at a mine. I ain't gonna tell you where it's at, because you'll be taking my gold too. But I'm at a very famous gold mine in a mountain range not far from Rosalie. And a lot of the gold ore that was in this mine was shipped out to the mill to be processed. Well, I know for a fact that the mine dumps have gold in them. I'm gonna show you how to sample them. So come here, take a look at this. Okay, so when you're sampling mine dumps, what you're always gonna need to bring with you is a tub, about 5 gallons of water, a little stand, Coleman stand. I like to use this one. 30 mesh screen, 20 mesh would do. Garrett Super Sluice Gold Pan, I really love these things. A spoon or some kind of a shovel to dig with. I like the spoons because they're light and I can get in there and sample. Dust masks, that way if you're digging up a lot of dirt and you start dry washing, you have dust masks to play with. Gloves, you gotta have gloves. Why? You start digging around that dirt, something comes out and bites you, and you're a long way from civilization. Whew, could be the last dig you ever do. All right, what else? Jet dry. If you're gonna be sampling these old mine dumps, the gold's gonna be real fine and real small. It'll actually float on the surface, so get some jet dry to put in the water. What else? Snuffer bottle. You gotta be able to suck that gold out when you're done. If you're gonna be dry washing, bring tools, screwdrivers, whatever it is, wrenches for your dry washer. We're gonna be using a dry washer today, so I brought a big old paintbrush, and I'll show you why later. And of course, I like to bring quarter screen, because if I'm doing a real quick sample, I'll use this one. But for the most part, the 20 is better because gold's gonna be small. So, once you got all that stuff set up, I'm gonna show you what to do next. Now what you're gonna do is, first do the research on the area that you're going to be sampling. That way you know the different types of rocks. And right here, I can see I've got 2 different types of rocks. See how that one's really foliated and breaks apart easily? This one's not foliated. It looks almost like a granite igneous rock. I would probably call it a granitic gneiss. I like to say gneiss, but I got a lot of flack over that, so the real terminology is gneiss or gneiss. And then I've got this over here. I've got a lot of green in there, which means chlorite. Now, what I've noticed is this particular mine, where the contact zones of these 2 rocks come together, there's a big quartz vein that runs right down the center. And there's calcite and quartz and a host of other minerals in with the quartz. Well, that's where the free mill gold was locked up. And so I know that more than likely it's not going to be in this darker rock right here. If anything, it's going to be locked up in this igneous rock right here, this granitic gneiss. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sample out of here and see if there's any small pieces of gold that are trapped in this rock that I can dry wash out later. So what you do is you grab your trusty dusty spoon, grab a little bit of dirt, shovel it in, screen, get a nice little sample of about 20 or 30 mesh, and then take it over to your water. Okay. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna gently pan that out. And make sure, I almost forgot. Almost. Put some jet dry in that water. Not a lot, a couple squirts. And that way, it breaks the surface tension on the water. That way your fine gold doesn't want to float. And it's better than dish soap because dish soap will foam up real bad. You're gonna gently pan that out. Nice and easy. Okay, then you're going to take your jeweler's loupe and you're going to get in there and see if you can see any fine traces of gold. Oh yeah, look at that. A couple nice pieces in there. See how rough that is? Ooh, yeah, I like that. God, I hope there's some more in there. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I know I've got a few specks of gold in that little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'll set up a dry washer next to that. Now I also advocate that you sample all the other piles of dirt because gold can show up in the weirdest of places. But for today, I'm going to just be dry washing off this little thing over here, this little pile. So come on, let's go. Okay, now today we're going to be using a different type of dry washer. Now I know in the past I used Keen 140 and I love those dry washers. But today we're using a Royal. Now, I've heard a lot of good things about these Royals and I really like the way they're built. And there's a couple of things different about this one than a Keen 140. So come here, I want you to take a look at this. All right, now the difference between the Royals and the Keen 140s is that when you go to do a cleanup, there's just this one little locking tab down here. You pull up on it. Now, the riffles don't come out. See, they're bolted in there. They just kind of swivel up. And then remember your paintbrush? All you got to do is take that and just brush out your cons. Now, if you're like me and you want to get every speck, you're going to pull that whole thing out like such. Now, another thing I want to talk about on these Royals is the fan and the counterweight in here are a lot bigger than on the Keen 140s. And because of that, this box will actually oscillate a heck of a lot more. And so you don't even have to run your Echo 210 on full speed. You can run it on half. I've seen guys run it on idle and it still does really well. And I like that. Now, we got this particular one at Desert Outfitters. And you can rent these models too. But of course it doesn't come with the blower, so you're gonna have to rent that too or buy it. They're about 350 bucks. It comes on a bucket. But you can get one of these from Desert Outfitters from either Steve or Pat. Just give them a call and they'll hook you up. And remember to get the blower motor assembly too with it. And if I were you, I'd actually invest in one because you can put it on a bucket and then use it as a vac pack to suck out all the gold out of the bedrock. So anyway, I'm going to fire this thing up and run it through so I can see if I got any gold. So you know what I'm going to say, huh? Let me hear you say it too. Ready? So come on, let's go. We got the last little bit blowing out of our hopper. All right, so I'm gonna do a cleanup. I'm gonna lift this guy up ever so gently. I'm gonna get my bucket ready because I don't want to lose my concentrates. Get him set up like that. Get my trusty dusty paintbrush out. All right, now all I'm gonna do is just gently clean my concentrates right in my bucket like that. I hope there's some gold in there. All right, now just to be safe, I'm gonna pull that complete matting out of there, just like such. Being ever so gentle. Clean that up. Okay, now before I put that back in, I'm gonna clean the sides of that box off. That way there's no dirt there, preventing me from getting an airtight seal. And I'm gonna just slide him back up in there, like such. Latch him. Now, I didn't go over the settings of this, so I'm gonna do that real quick. So come here, take a look at this. All right, now the first thing you'll notice is these little buttons up here. You have 3 little holes. Can you see that? 1, 2, and 3. Now I got mine in the middle. That's the normal setting. You've got the other one, which is a steeper setting for like dirt clods, and then you've got the lower setting for moist dirt, so on and so forth. The next thing would be, of course, is the feed gate here. I've got mine in the medium position based on the type of soil I'm running. If you're running moist soil or big clogs or what have you, you're going to want to open that up. If you're running fine sand, you're going to close that up, so that way you don't have you're not overfilling this riffle box. On my settings for my angle on my box, I usually like to give it somewhere between 30 degrees, maybe 35, based on soil conditions. When you get used to using these boxes, you'll start to get a feel for how much material should flow over those riffles if you're going too fast or too slow. If you want to check to see if you're going too fast, all you got to do is sample your tailing pile down here, and if there's any gold in it, of course, you know that it's going too fast. So, okay, now I know there's a few things I've left out, and I know that there's probably some information out there you guys want. So what I've done is I've already done a video on all the tips and tricks on how to set up a dry washer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a link right here. The tips and tricks to get more gold using a dry washer. Click on it, watch it, and it'll tell you a whole lot more information. And of course we're using a Keen 140 in that video, but watch it. I guarantee you're going to see a lot of good tips and tricks on how to set it up. So, all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this thing for a couple more hours and get me some more gold. And then I'm going to take the cons back, and I'm not going to show Slim either. And then I'm going to show you how much gold we got. So you know what I'm going to say, huh? So come on, let's go. Well, hey everybody, I just wanted to tell you, don't forget, we're going to be at the Gold Show over at the South Point Casino this month, April 25th. And then later on, we're going to have a meet and greet up at Desert Outfitters, May 16th on a Saturday between 1 and 4. So make sure you bring the kids. And Slim might even be there. So we're going to be at the Gold Show Saturday, and we'll be at Desert Outfitters the following month on Saturday. So you know what I'm going to say, so I don't got to say it. So come on, let's go.